What if I told you that sitting in your kitchen right now are 10 plants so powerful, they can literally shut down inflammation at the cellular level? We're talking about blocking the same enzymes that pharmaceutical drugs target, but naturally. By the end of this video, you won't just know what these plants are, you'll understand the exact science behind how they work, and I'll show you exactly how to use them to feel better, move easier, and live with less pain. Let's start with the golden king of anti-inflammatory plants, turmeric. This isn't just hype. We're talking about over 3,000 published studies on this incredible root. Here's what makes turmeric so powerful. It contains curcumin, and here's the fascinating part. Curcumin doesn't just reduce inflammation, it actually inhibits specific enzymes called cyclooxygenase 1 and cyclooxygenase 2. These are the exact same enzymes that create prostaglandins and interleukins, the molecules that literally cause pain, swelling, and tissue damage in your body. But here's where it gets really interesting. Curcumin also blocks something called nuclear factor kappa B, which is like the master switch for inflammation. When this switch is turned on, it triggers a cascade of inflammatory responses throughout your entire body. Turmeric essentially flips this switch off. Studies have shown that curcumin can be as effective as some pharmaceutical anti-inflammatory drugs, but without the dangerous side effects like stomach ulcers or liver damage. In fact, one study found that curcumin was more effective than diclofenac, a common NSAID, for reducing joint pain and stiffness. Add 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder to soups, curries, roasted vegetables, or smoothies. For drinks, stir it into warm plant-based milk with a pinch of black pepper. This combination helps your body absorb up to 2,000% more curcumin, thanks to the piperine in black pepper slowing its breakdown in the liver. Pro tip: heat activates turmeric's beneficial compounds, so adding it to warm dishes or lattes is especially powerful. Warning: turmeric is generally safe, but if you're on blood thinners, check with your doctor first. It can enhance their effects. Too much can also cause stomach upset or, in rare cases, liver issues, so stick to the recommended amounts. But that's nothing compared to what our next plant can do, and chances are, it's already in your kitchen. Ginger has been used medicinally for over 5,000 years, and modern science now knows exactly why it's so effective. Ginger contains over 400 bioactive compounds, but the stars of the show are gingerols, particularly 6-gingerol, 8-gingerol, and 10-gingerol. These work on 2 major inflammation pathways simultaneously, the cyclooxygenase and lipoxygenase pathways. Here's what's remarkable. When you consume ginger, it doesn't just block inflammation, it actually prevents the formation of inflammatory compounds in the first place. The gingerols inhibit the production of prostaglandins, leukotrienes, and thromboxanes, all major players in the inflammation game. Clinical studies have shown that ginger can reduce inflammatory markers by up to 25% in just 6 weeks. One fascinating study found that athletes who took ginger experienced 25% less muscle pain after intense exercise compared to those who took a placebo. But here's something most people don't know. Fresh ginger and dried ginger work differently. Fresh ginger contains gingerols, while dried ginger contains showgales, which are actually even more potent anti-inflammatory compounds. This is why ginger gets more potent when it's heated or dried. How to consume. Fresh ginger tea. Slice a 1-inch piece and steep for 10 to 15 minutes in hot water. Dried ginger powder. 1 to 1.5 grams daily. Dosage matters. Studies show you need at least 1 gram daily to see anti-inflammatory effects, but don't exceed 4 grams as it can cause stomach upset. Interesting fact: ginger is so powerful that it's been shown to be as effective as ibuprofen for reducing menstrual pain, and it works faster with fewer side effects. However, the next plant on our list contains a compound that's been nature's antibiotic for millennia, and it has some surprising anti-inflammatory powers. When you crush garlic, it releases allicin, nature's antibiotic. But here's what most people don't know. Allicin also shuts down pro-inflammatory cytokines and reduces nitric oxide production. This is crucial because excess nitric oxide can actually damage your tissues. The key here is the timing. How to consume: crush 2 to 3 cloves and let them sit for 10 minutes before cooking. This simple step maximizes the allicin production. Interesting fact, aged garlic extract is even more potent for inflammation than fresh garlic, as the aging process creates stable, more powerful compounds. But wait until you hear about this next herb that's hiding in plain sight. Rosemary isn't just for making your potatoes taste amazing. It contains rosmarinic acid, which blocks both lipoxygenase and cyclooxygenase enzymes. That's a 1-2 punch against inflammation. How to consume. Make rosemary tea, 1 tablespoon dried herb per cup, or use it liberally in your cooking. Interesting fact, rosemary extract is so powerful as an antioxidant that it's used as a natural preservative in many foods, extending shelf life without artificial chemicals. But the next plant is worth more than gold by weight, and for good reason. Saffron contains crocin, and this compound doesn't just reduce inflammation, it tackles oxidative stress at the same time. How to consume. Just a pinch, about 30 milligrams, in warm milk or tea daily. A little goes a long way. Interesting fact, it takes 150 flowers to produce just 1 gram of saffron, which is why it's so expensive. Now, our next plant is controversial, but the science is undeniable. Green tea contains powerful compounds called catechins, especially EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate, which also blocks the master switch for inflammation, nuclear factor kappa B. When you block the switch, you're essentially turning off inflammation at its source. How to consume. 2 to 3 cups daily, steeped for 3 to 5 minutes in water that's not quite boiling, around 175 degrees Fahrenheit, to preserve the catechins. Interesting fact, matcha green tea powder contains 137 times more antioxidants than regular green tea because you're consuming the entire leaf. But here's a spice that packs more anti-inflammatory power per gram than almost anything else. Cloves contain eugenol, which shuts down cyclooxygenase enzymes and blocks pro-inflammatory cytokines. But here's the kicker, cloves have the highest antioxidant capacity of any spice, which is a key part of fighting inflammation. How to consume. 1 to 2 whole cloves chewed after meals, or make clove tea. Interesting fact, cloves were once worth their weight in gold and sparked wars over trade routes. The next plant has one of the most intimidating names, but incredible healing power. Despite its scary name, devil's claw contains harpagicide, which specifically targets cyclooxygenase enzymes and inflammatory cytokines. It's been used traditionally for joint pain for centuries. How to consume. Studies and traditional use often reference 500 to 1,000 milligrams of standardized devil's claw extract daily, but the right amount can vary based on your health and needs, so it's best to follow your healthcare provider's guidance. Interesting fact, devil's claw gets its name from its hook-covered fruits, but it's the root that contains all the medicinal compounds. Now, let's talk about something you probably have in your kitchen that's an inflammation-fighting superfood. Blueberries are packed with polyphenol and antioxidants that don't just reduce oxidative stress, they actively combat inflammation at the cellular level. The anthocyanins that give blueberries their color are particularly powerful. How to consume. 1 cup fresh or frozen daily in smoothies or as a snack. Interesting fact, wild blueberries contain even more antioxidants than cultivated ones. Our final plant is something you might snack on, but it's doing incredible work inside your body. Walnuts are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, specifically alpha-linolenic acid, which your body converts into powerful anti-inflammatory compounds. These directly reduce pro-inflammatory cytokines. How to consume. 1 ounce, about 14 halves, daily, raw, or lightly toasted. Interesting fact, walnuts are the only tree nut with a significant amount of omega-3 fatty acids. And for those of you who've watched to this point, here's a bonus plant that packs a surprising punch against inflammation, stinging nettle. Don't let the name fool you. Once it's cooked or processed, it's completely safe and incredibly powerful. Stinging nettle reduces inflammation through multiple mechanisms. First, it inhibits enzymes in the same way as many of the other plants we've discussed. But it also reduces pro-inflammatory cytokines and neutralizes toxins in the body, giving you a powerful 3-pronged defense. It's been used for centuries to treat joint pain and is backed by modern science. How to consume. As a tea, Steep 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried nettle leaf in hot water. In food, cooked nettle leaves can be added to soups, stews, or sautéed like spinach. As a supplement, look for standardized capsules or tinctures. Pro tip: studies have shown that when used alongside traditional anti-inflammatory drugs, stinging nettle can enhance their effectiveness, potentially allowing for a lower dosage and fewer side effects. As always, consult your doctor before making any changes to your medication routine. So, from the Golden King turmeric to this bonus power plant, stinging nettle, you now have an entire arsenal to fight inflammation naturally. But plants are just part of the equation. Let me show you how to maximize their power. Here are 3 powerful strategies to supercharge these plants and take control of inflammation. 1. The inflammation-fighting plate. Follow an anti-inflammatory diet. Think Mediterranean style with whole grains, nuts, seeds, colorful fruits, and vegetables. Avoid processed foods, trans fats, and refined sugars. These actually promote inflammation. 2. The 12-hour reset. Recent research shows that giving your digestive system a break can reduce systemic inflammation. Try a 12-hour eating window to start, and you'll be amazed at the difference. 3. The polyphenol rainbow. Eat the rainbow. Different colored fruits and vegetables contain different anti-inflammatory compounds, so a varied diet is key. From the anthocyanins in blueberries to the beta-carotenes in carrots, each color is a different tool in your fight against inflammation. Combination tips. Here's the secret: combine these plants for maximum effect. Try my golden anti-inflammatory smoothie. 1 cup blueberries, 1/4 teaspoon turmeric, 1-inch piece fresh ginger, 1/4 cup walnuts, pinch of black pepper, flax seed milk. If this video opened your eyes to the power of natural anti-inflammatory compounds, hit that like button and subscribe for more science-backed health content. Which of these plants surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And here's your homework. Pick 3 of these plants and incorporate them into your routine this week. Don't forget to check the description for links to the scientific studies mentioned in this video, because everything I've shared is backed by real research. Until next time, stay happy and healthy.